Welcome to Know It All, a place to connect with researchers to answer all questions on health, science, technology, business, culture, and more. This episode on What is Identity Management was created for you by Abigail. In this topic, Know It All will answer: what is identity management? What are the challenges faced when implementing identity management? Identity management is the process of organizing, controlling, and protecting personal information about a company's users. It does this by assigning each user with an identity that can be used to access various applications or resources within the organization's network. Identity management (IDM) systems are designed to provide security measures such as authentication and authorization while also allowing admins to easily manage large amounts of user data in real time. When it comes to implementing an IDM system, organizations need to first decide which type makes sense for them: single sign-on, SSO, Federated Identity Management, or Directory Services infrastructure like LDAP/Active Directory Federation Services. SSO is relatively simple but doesn't offer granular control over permissions. On the other hand, federated IDPs allow more fine-grained control at scale, although they do require some additional setup work upfront. Finally, some companies opt for centralized stores like Active Directory, where all credentials live together so administrators can search and filter quickly when needed. Plus, it offers easy integration into most enterprise apps without needing much custom development efforts further down the line. With any system you choose, though, common endpoints should include two-factor authentication support as well as credential encryption both during transit and storage. These elements provide extra layers of protection from malicious actors attempting to infiltrate your corporate IT landscape. As far as best practices go, always ensure machines requiring privileged accounts use hardware tokens. Rotating passwords frequently helps too. Lastly, remember to create a backup plan in case there is ever a sudden loss of service. No matter how securely implemented your system is, there are still potential risks for outages and downtime. One way to mitigate these risks is to connect multiple providers offering failover capabilities, meaning connections will automatically switch to another provider in the event your primary one fails. Regardless of the approach you take, the underlying principle of every successful implementation starts by knowing the needs and wants of the business. Only when you have a strong understanding of that can you start to look for the best fitting solutions that will ensure optimal performance and the desired outcomes. The implementation of an identity management system can be a daunting task for any organization. Identity management systems are becoming increasingly important in today's corporate environment as they offer companies the ability to secure their networks and data while ensuring that only authorized personnel have access to sensitive information. While implementing such a system may seem like an expensive undertaking, there are several challenges organizations must consider before investing in this technology. 1. Security risks. Implementing an identity management solution brings with it its own set of security risks which need to be addressed properly during the planning phase, or else you could put your entire infrastructure at risk for malicious actors trying to gain unauthorized access into your network by exploiting weak points within the architecture. This makes proper user authentication essential when deploying these solutions, as well as timely patch deployment and regular monitoring/audits of activity logs produced by users accessing protected resources on company premises or remotely over public internet connections. 2. User acceptance and training. It's true that most people don't feel comfortable learning how new technologies work, especially if those changes require them having to take extra steps whenever logging onto computer networks, like entering passwords every time. Even though IDM systems streamline many processes related to user identification, making everyone's job easier, some employees might reject using them due to both lack familiarity and feeling overwhelmed about using something different than what they're used to. These factors can impede a widespread adoption amongst employees, even after IDM systems have been successfully installed. A good strategy would include creating detailed tutorial materials explaining each step needed in order to complete tasks associated with utilizing provided toolsets, alongside providing personal support sessions where necessary depending upon the number of end users involved in the project. 3. Privacy concerns. As part of our daily life, we leave digital fingerprints all around us, whether online through social media accounts or on the websites we visit frequently. When it comes to a company wanting to protect the identities of its employees, they also have to factor in the privacy rights of customers. In order to protect against the potential misuse of data from stored databases that connected applications used to validate requested operations. When architecting and designing these deployments, ensure that you are in compliance with GDPR regulations regarding the protection of identifiable information. Encrypting communications and networking equipment prevents unwanted parties gaining direct visibility. 4. Cost implications. One challenge when implementing identity management solutions is cost considerations, not just upfront expenses but ongoing maintenance costs post-installation too. Ensure that your budget accounts for a full cycle of running the applicable software licenses and annual subscription fees. Thank you for listening. For more answers to questions on health, science, technology, business, culture, and more, don't forget to subscribe to Know It All.